Welcome back. This episode is going to encourage you. As you know, it's an exciting time of year, but we need you to take some time for yourself. We want to push you to aspire higher. We're going to recap some of our great guests and memories that we've taken from them. There's some things they said that impacted us, and they will impact you. We're going to talk about our book, of course, because that book is dope. It's an Amazon bestseller, and you better get it for this holiday season. If not, get it for yourself. We hope that you enjoy the rest of this episode and can't wait for you to leave your comments, subscribe, and share.
We're so excited that you joined us. This is our end of year wrap up. Can you believe that, Charles?
Of course I
can.
The
whole year is gone just like that, but we have significant words, lessons that you can take with you to prepare as you take the flight of your life and prepare to launch for your life as well. So Charles, how you feeling today?
Okay, making it every day. Yeah,
that's it. That's
a little
it.
Tired, man. But we're grateful to be here.
You know what? The end of the quarter, the end of the year, so many people harder. They push hard and also feel like it's time to hibernate.
Right. I'm not the hibernate type. I think you and I talked about this a couple of weeks ago. It's like, this is still December.
It is still December.
And people are still at work right now.
Yes.
So relationships, calls, checking in, there's still things to be done to set up the next year.
Yeah, come on. But it does come with some burnout, let's be honest.
It comes, but again, I think for me, it's important to remember that you're trying to ensure that the relationships you have are still established, and you want them to know that you're thinking of them, and also to remember you when the turn of the season comes. Yeah.
I love that. Well, let's talk about some of the greatest moments we've had this year at our show, Aspire Higher with Charles and Yvana Bailey.
Many.
We have had so many guests. We've had from executive leaders. We also had from professional athletes that retired, coaches.
Yeah.
Let's just talk about that real quick. We
have
a vast profile on our Aspire Higher channel that people have blessed us with words of wisdom.
Yeah, no doubt.
We have encouraged our audience with so much gold nuggets, man, that I want to just talk about that really quick.
Sure, why not?
It's an honor, first and foremost, for you guys to even want to be on our show and to be able to build on what we have built. It's such a blessing. But even moving forward, talk about something that you feel has inspired you maybe, or a lesson or a moment with the podcast that you felt like, wow, that hit.
What reaches me the most and has spoken to me the greatest has been the array of people's experiences.
Yeah.
But it's all themed on overcoming obstacles.
Right.
The reality of the challenges of life, no matter what level you're on, no matter what level of success you have found.
Yeah.
And even overcoming from the sense of adversity is the thing that is increasing your elevation.
That's right.
Which we talk about often in our book.
That's right.
And it was really good to hear the personal side, the testimony side, the challenges, and how people walk through it. We had business leaders who literally were bankrupt.
Man,
we've had people who had cancer and their life was literally thought that it was going to end.
Right.
We've had people that have gotten on the show who had their dream in their hand, and literally the same day that they were getting ready to get to the next level, it was taken from them.
Yeah.
So this is not to say we glory in anyone's grief, but I do think it's awesome that there's glory after the grief if you keep going.
That's right. That's right. It is so imperative to continue with momentum.
Sure.
You talk about momentum a lot in your keynotes.
Sure.
And I think it's a beautiful word because it does mean that force has to be applied.
And continue.
And right, exactly. So you have to keep moving that needle forward. But there are people that feel like they don't have the resources to mentally, mindset-wise, that they feel tired,
Yeah, sure.
And no matter what, when we've seen from Dr. Jamil Northcutt and how he's, oh my gosh, you talk about success.
Sure, absolutely.
In business and leadership from the university level all the way to the NFL level and then beyond that. You think about just so many times where people really could have quit.
Sure.
And that story could have ended at period.
Yeah.
But then the the continuum from that, it makes me so proud to know that there are people out here that are truly grinding, but they're truly believing in themselves that there is greater, there's more left. And I think for our audience, even now, as you walk into the new year, you have to harness the superpower of knowing that you've done what you've done, but there's still more left. You know, I think that's the gold in what I'm saying.
Sure, it is gold. And I hope that you've taken from everything we've talked about that you are special enough to do the thing that you don't think you're special enough to do. And I say that because it's not a superhuman power,
right?
Which we do speak clearly about our faith. And there is a supernatural power that can take over you if you focus and line up with what it is you're made to do.
Yeah.
But sincerely, it's the fact that it's already been given to you. It's on the inside of you, and you just have to trust it.
Yeah.
You have to be willing to go the hard way. I was talking to a young man in the gym yesterday, and I was sensing that he was depressed, and it was an interesting thing. I just walked up to him and told him what I felt like I was hearing from the Lord. I really believe I was getting a message for him. He says, "Bro, this is crazy that you walked up to me." He says, "What made you even say that?"
Yeah.
And he was just saying, "I was literally just thinking about X, Y, and Z. I don't want to put his business out there."
Right.
And he said, "And one other friend had said something to me like this, and here you are confirming it." I said, "Because I knew that was what was meant for me to say to you." But I was reminding him that there's an incredible destiny on the inside of you, but you don't have to take responsibility for other people's destiny. That all you need to do is put yourself in the best position to take flight for you, because he was trying to think about his parents. He was trying to think about what he can do for them. Again, not telling the business, but I was like, their whole thing is they've raised you so that you can do what you need to do. And by that, they would be proud. So again, everyone has in them the thing that they're made to do, and they can do it. But you just have to recognize that it is up to you to get it done.
Come on.
You're gifted enough to do it.
You know, there is such an alignment with what you just said.
Sure.
This year, I want to share my own personal reflection on the lessons I've learned from taking the flight of my life, because this has been a year, greats, goods, bads, ugly.
Sure.
I've been through it all this year. And I have done the inner work to understand how to free myself of different things that have held me back. But also, too, what propelled me forward with momentum has been the understanding that I am prepared for impact. And I have the ability to foster relationships. I have the ability to put myself in room. I have the ability to do so much. But when you get to a point where recovery is lacking, or you get to a point where depression might creep in, it is a real stumbling block.
Yeah.
And I used to run hurdles for a living.
That's interesting. Keep speaking.
Yeah, go ahead. I used to run hurdles for a living, professional athlete. And though hurdles was my favorite event in track and field, mostly because no one wanted to do it. It's the hardest event, one of them, in all of track and athletics. And one thing I know for a fact is that I have been gifted to get over it and push through. There are a lot of people that desire coaching because they don't know how to get through it. They don't know how to push through, and they're stuck. I was speaking at a women's empowerment session, and it was so interesting because I shared a snippet about my journey.
Sure.
And people view me as a versatile entrepreneur. You have your hand in so many things, but they're successful. And I personally shared what confidence has done in my life and the platforms it's put me on, but also, too, it comes with perfecting that. It comes with performing at it, and it comes with practicing at it. And so one woman looked at me and she was like, "I'm stuck. No matter what I do as an entrepreneur, I am stuck because of the inner doubt that I have, and I can't move forward."
Yeah.
So I'm like, "Well, how are you going to take the flight of your life if you can't move forward?" And she's like, "Well, that's why I need your help." I'm like, "Okay, let's do it."
Sure.
But even for me personally, I have seen that no matter how many times I felt like I was on the ground level and I aspired to be flying high and being with those people that are successful, I still knew that the journey I take, it has to be one step at a time.
Yes.
I like overseeing. I like looking at the big picture.
Sure.
But those small actionable items were everything for me this year. And I started understanding that if it is depression, take a moment, seek therapy.
Yeah.
If it is a moment where I feel discouraged, tap into that moment just for a
Sure.
second. Don't sit in it long, but then empower myself with resources. So I have read our own book multiple
Yeah,
times
sure. Me too. I
to
think I've
try
read
to
it 3 to
get
5
and
times.
right?
It's
To
crazy.
try to get and harness some self-belief, some
Yes.
core systems and
Because
true
life has
practices.
those moments that will come with it. But go ahead. Yes.
Always, always. And the way that we've laid it out, man, it
Sure.
is so beneficial.
Yeah.
And okay, we move forward from Christmas, but still understand this book is meant to guide you through life. It's not a seasonal
Push
book.
you.
We could
That's
put it in a
right.
stocking and Merry Christmas, that's cool. But post New Year, you still need something. And so I encourage you to check out our book. I encourage you to purchase it
Sure.
and invest in yourself, because honestly, it changed my life reading it. Those who water will be watered, right?
right.
We talk about that on page 181. Give and it will come back to you. I've given this book away to people
Sure.
that I believe in because I know that they need that push. They
Yeah.
need that extra step,
Right.
you
That's
know?
right. Well, I'm thinking of what you were talking about
Mhm.
feeling drained, and I want to
Yeah.
make sure I go back on that because I have been putting some encouraging words out on social media, and I thought that was so unique because this is the next one that's coming, and this may speak to someone. It's why you're drained, and I say stop pouring into wells that aren't yours. A difficult truth. This is something that I actually had to learn myself.
Yeah.
Emotional exhaustion isn't just doing too much.
Yeah.
It's giving your verbs to the wrong nouns.
Right. Oof, that's a good one. That's a good one. Giving your verbs
Giving
to the
your
wrong
verbs
nouns.
to the wrong
Person, place,
nouns.
thing, or
That's
idea.
right.
Come on.
And verbs are actions, conditions, or even frequency.
Yes.
Above all else,
Guilty.
you should guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it.
That's right.
Who, what, when, where, why, and how are you investing in what was not assigned to you?
Oof. That's a reality check right there. Go ahead.
Don't give what is holy to dogs, or
Mhm.
throw your pearls to
That's right.
pigs,
Come
or
on.
they may trample them and then turn against you.
Wow.
Some of us are going through things that we meant well, but we didn't realize that as we were trying our best to give and give and give, the things that were valuable or that needed it didn't receive what they needed. You're drained because you're overcommitted to people and places that can never align with your God-given purpose.
Come on.
This is why so many people experience the fullness of the burnout. It's not because they're overworked. And in fact, that's the truth of even me. As a business owner, and what I was just saying at the height of this show, I've spent a lot of this time reaching, emailing, calling, did you get this? Trying to make deals last second. And
right.
you should.
Right,
There's honor in that.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes even I can push beyond the boundary of what I'm actually assigned to do instead of just resting.
Oh.
And knowing that it's okay, because this whole year, God got us everything we've ever needed. And every year prior, we've
Plus
had it.
more. Come on. It's interesting you say that.
Yeah.
And I want you to repeat the very first one about the noun and
Sure.
the verb, if you don't mind, because I want to touch
Sure.
on that.
Emotional exhaustion isn't just doing too much. It's giving your verbs to the wrong nouns.
Come on. There are so many times where our action verbs, even as women, I'm going to speak specifically to that audience. As women, we can feel like multitasking is this gift.
Right.
Over communicating or just being present and showing up is this thing that's our cape, right? And taking care of so many others versus
Right.
taking care of ourselves, okay? Whether you have children or not,
That's
whether you
right.
own businesses or you're or you work for a business, there are so many ways to overcommit.
Yeah.
And to give yourself to the wrong nouns.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you this, a woman said to me, she said, Yvana, stop showing up to everything.
Absolutely.
And I said, oh, excuse me, trying to be known. She's like, no. You are known. That's why you need to do less.
Absolutely.
I said, okay,
And our
once
book
you're
would
in
say
the
less is
room,
more.
come
Yeah, but
on,
go ahead.
man, come
Yeah.
on. I started doing that and finding the commitment and making the time to, and this sounds so childish, but it's something my therapist and I walk through, is like just tapping into the peace and the tranquility of being a little child to break free from the pressures and the stresses of life. So I would go by myself to parks and swing on the swings.
Yeah, that's right.
I would go and blow bubbles. And first of all, blowing bubbles is not easy as an adult. I have a lot of force.
I'm not sure.
I have a lot of force
well,
when it comes to like diaphragmatic
We've talked
breathing
about that
and-
on the show. Sometimes people give too much force.
I couldn't blow the
You gotta
bubbles.
be a little
I
more
was
gentle.
very upset about this, but I did a good job after. But even something that small made me feel like almost re-energized in a
Sure.
calm way, though.
I
Like I got a
understand.
lot of energy,
Yeah.
but I felt more at peace doing something different,
Sure.
and then also allowing myself to be like a child and to experience those peaceful moments, as opposed to stress out about maybe the deal I didn't close, or stress out about the conference I wasn't speaking at, or you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Like, it's the small things that
Right.
matter. And it's the small things that took me from ground level to soaring. And internally, I found that as I invested in those small practicums, I found too that I was more clear. I was more apt to feel at peace, even though
Sure.
war was happening, you know?
Mm.
And so for someone, maybe our encouragement is to you right now that you can still start to reframe your
Yeah.
mindset
That's right.
now.
That's right.
You might be in a rough season. You might be in an ugly season. You might be in war right now, whether it's in the home, outside the
That's
home,
right.
whether it's in the job, outside the job, with the kids, without the kids, whatever it is. We want to encourage you right now to know that you're not alone. You're not alone.
Yeah.
And the fact that people like us and people like them are still alive.
Made
Can
it
we
through.
just made
Yeah,
it
just be
through,
honest.
though?
Somebody
Make it
wishing
through
they
another
had just
day.
another minute, just another day.
There are people right now in jail. There are people right now that have been incarcerated that just wish they can come out, wish they can sit, wish they can speak, wish they can encourage, and or even that, just an hour of freedom. You have the freedom right now to choose better.
Yeah,
you also
that's right.
have the
Choose
freedom
better.
right now to think better.
That's
You
right.
have the freedom to do better. And you have the freedom to actualize those thoughts that we're speaking and start to transform your mindset and transform your heart, your spirit, and your soul, because it's not too late.
That's right.
It's right on time. And some of you need to know that. You're right on time. They're right on time.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I think that's incredible. I think it'd be nice before we go to end this year, maybe just look in the book, pull up some thoughts, and we don't even have to talk about them. We can just read them. We just want you guys to be encouraged, because there's so much value in here, and we didn't pre-plan this.
Mm-hmm.
See, there are things that talk to you. You could just flip through it, and I promise you'll find something for you.
Your flight truly begins when you decide to leave the ground. Hear that, harness it, and own it. When you decide to leave the ground, the groundwork, the mindset, you have the ability to soar and to fly higher than you ever have. And my question to you before I even read this is, what are you going to commit to soar higher into this year? Yeah. Small steps, not the big picture first. Very small steps that you can do daily to commit yourself to soar. And now, if you are truly ready, this is on page 181 in The Flight of Your Life. This, by the way, bestseller. Like that's one of our greatest accomplishments this year. And people will say, "Oh, okay, I did it too," or "Good for you." But for us,
we're grateful.
It's important.
That's right. It's important for us.
This is a huge deal. Okay, so I'm gonna get excited about it. I'm gonna share something that's going to hopefully help and transform your mindset in your life. If you are truly ready to take the flight of your life, you will realize the critical importance of preparing for impact and being prepared for impact. Keep your eyes open for places and people where you can make an impact, even if it goes unnoticed.
Yeah, that's so cool. I love that line.
Come on,
Even
man.
if it goes unnoticed.
Even if it goes unnoticed. Yeah. My own personal testimony to this, this last quarter of the year, I actually tapped back into former passions that I had that I just kind of like left. I was like, let me get back into the entertainment industry through runway, through different ways, of modeling and expressing who I am. With that being said, I would show up to shoots and I would show up to runway shows, and I would intentionally say, I don't want to be a model. I want to serve. Yeah. I want to be behind the scenes. I want to serve the AD. I just want to serve. That servitude, people saw me and still put me on the runway. They saw me and still put me on the stage. And I was like, guys, chill. Like, I just want to be of service to you guys. But they were like, but because of the talent we see in you and because of the posture of your attitude. That's right. We're going to put you even higher. Awesome. So sometimes you don't have to work that hard. You just need to be present. You need to keep your eyes open, and you need to keep your heart willing and think how you can be of service to others.
That's awesome. And it's funny, this is unplanned, but page 113, your attitude indicators, if not maintained, can become stuck, leaving you to believe that you're flying level despite the fact that your wings are not in alignment with who you need to be. You may have seen vehicles like this on the road. The steering wheel's straight, but the vehicle is driving out of alignment, and the rear end is shifted so far to the one side that the car that you're seeing looks like it's driving sideways while it's going straight. And it's funny because, as you were saying, attitude indicators.
Yeah.
There are people, there are things, we've harped on this many times, that in our lives that are meant to remind us that sometimes our attitude may need a slight adjustment.
Come on.
And if you adjust, you'll be surprised at how beautiful the result was for you was made to be.
That's right.
That's awesome.
I love that. I want us both to encourage you guys really quick, if we didn't already.
I hope so.
But we want to thank you so much for being a part of this community.
Yeah.
We want to thank you so much for your investment and your love for Aspire Higher. That was our whole goal for this year, to get you to think outside of yourself and aspire in ways to be higher than you ever thought and could imagine, with resources, with tools, with guests. The guests that we've had here offered so much value, and we would not be without you. So we thank you so much from the bottom of our heart for tuning in. We thank you for liking, for sharing, for booking us. Some of you booked us based off of our show.
Yeah.
If you want to continue to see this grow, let us know how we've impacted you. Let us know if there's been an episode that you loved that's maybe transformed your thinking, stinking thinking, whatever it's been. We want to make sure that you feel loved, heard, valued. So please share with us how this show has transformed your life or just inspired you to be better.
And of course, as she said, we are keynote speakers. We love to bring this inspirational content to your team.
Yes.
We love to share so that your people can grow, maybe to persevere more, maybe to find the difference between intensity and consistency, or to really walk in a true level of confidence that is not external, but internally and externally impactful. Thank you so much for being with us. We do still hope you subscribe. We'll be back.
Yes.
We're going to take a little pause, but keep going back to all the other episodes. If you hadn't caught any, this is the perfect time to do it now. And get this book, The Flight of Your Life, available anywhere books are sold, over 90 countries. Thank you so much for being with us through this journey.
Bye.